Banana Island, Lagos. The Ola mansion stood like it paid rent to the sun. Italian marble floors so shiny you could see your future in them. Gold-trimmed ceilings, massive crystal chandelier, imported from Dubai. White grand piano nobody played, but everybody admired. Velvet cream sofas, arranged like they were in a magazine photo shoot. And in the middle of all this wealth, silence. Except, Daddy, this is getting out of hand. Chief Abeo Ola, 35, billionaire, 62, dark cocoa skin, broad shoulders, wearing a perfectly tailored navy blue kaftan and holding a glass of expensive red wine, looked up slowly from his MacBook. I'm sorry? His deep voice echoed gently in the luxury living room. Standing before him were his twins, 8 years old, but talking like shareholders in a board meeting. Noah stood straight, caramel skin glowing under chandelier light, small designer glasses resting on his nose, wearing a mini senator outfit in white. Nora stood beside him, golden brown skin radiant, pink silk pajamas with tiny crowns printed on them, hands dramatically placed on her waist. Nora sighed loudly. You cannot keep living like this. Abeo blinked. Living like what? Like a lonely billionaire, Noah clarified calmly. Abeo nearly spilled his wine. I beg your pardon? Nora climbed onto the cream velvet sofa like she was about to address the United Nations. Daddy, we have conducted research. Abeo rubbed his temple. What research? Noah pulled out a small notepad. You are 35. Yes. You are rich. Yes. You are handsome. Abeo paused. Continue. And yet, Noah adjusted his glasses. You have no wife. Silence fell dramatically. Even the chandelier seemed to pause. Abeo leaned back. I have dated. Nora gasped. Lipstick aunties are not dating. He blinked slowly. Excuse me? The ones that laugh like heh, sir, and flip their hair when they see your cars. Nora demonstrated dramatically, flipping imaginary hair. Noah nodded seriously. They don't love you. They love your convoy. Abeo burst out laughing despite himself. You two are 8. And you are single, Nora fired back. Noah walked toward the giant floor-to-ceiling window overlooking the infinity pool. Last week that tall auntie said she loved you. Yes, Abeo said cautiously. But when you wore simple clothes for charity visit, she did not recognize you. Nora folded her arms. She greeted you like you were security. Abeo winced. That part was true. He sighed deeply and stood, walking across the marble floor. His reflection followed him like a reminder of his status. Relationships are not business contracts. Noah looked up at him. But you are treating it like investment without proper vetting. Abeo stared at his son. Who taught you the word vetting? You did. Fair enough. Nora suddenly flopped backward onto the sofa. We cannot grow up without a mommy. Her voice cracked slightly. Abeo walked closer, sitting between them. You have me. Noah's voice was calm, but firm. We want you to be happy. Silence. The grand piano stood quietly. The golden wall arch shimmered. The luxury felt empty. Nora sniffed. Sometimes when you think we are sleeping, you sit alone in the study. Abeo froze. You noticed? We notice everything, Noah said. Even when you sigh like this, Nora exaggerated dramatically. Abeo laughed through emotion. You two are too observant. The proposal, from the children. We have decided to take action. Abeo narrowed his eyes. Action? Yes, Nora said proudly. Operation Find Mommy. Abeo almost choked again. Operation what? Noah opened his notepad. Step 1. Identify candidate with genuine heart. Step 2. Remove wealth variable. Step 3. Emotional evaluation. Abeo stood up. No, absolutely not. I forbid whatever this is. Nora stood too, tiny but fierce. Daddy, with all due respect, your selection process is flawed. He stared at her. Flawed? Yes, she said confidently. You are choosing with eyes. Noah added calmly, instead of heart. Abeo had no comeback. For a billionaire who negotiated oil deals and million-dollar contracts daily, he was losing an argument to 2 8-year-olds. The dangerous idea, Nora leaned forward conspiratorially. What if someone loved you without knowing you are rich? Abeo laughed. That is impossible. Noah adjusted his glasses. Nothing is impossible. You told us that when we asked for a pony. That was motivational speaking. We took it seriously. Abeo stared at his children. They were serious. Too serious. Whatever you are planning, he warned, I want no part in it. The twins exchanged a look. A silent twin language look. Operation approved, without his knowledge. Later that night, Abeo stood alone in his luxurious bedroom. Massive king-size bed, gold-accented headboard, private balcony overlooking Lagos skyline, soft instrumental music playing. He loosened his caftan collar and looked at the city lights. Maybe the children were right. Maybe he was lonely. Meanwhile, down the hallway, inside a pink and blue themed twin bedroom filled with luxury bunk beds and soft LED lighting, Noah opened his laptop. Nora whispered excitedly, Tomorrow we begin. Noah typed seriously, Mission, find woman who loves broke version of daddy. They high-fived. And somewhere in Lagos, Azuka was closing her small restaurant, unaware that two tiny billionaires had just placed her destiny under review. While Banana Island glittered with chandeliers and imported marble, Surulere had something else. Noise. Danfo buses shouting. Pepper soup aroma floating. Generator humming like it had anger issues. Street vendors arguing over change. Inside a small but lively restaurant painted in fading yellow and orange stood Azuka Nwafor, 25 years old. Dark chocolate skin glowing naturally. No makeup except lip balm. Natural hair tied into a neat bun. Simple Ankara knee-length dress. Flat black sandals. She moved with quiet grace between tables. 2 extra meat? Yes, sir. Madam, your change? No, don't worry. God bless you. She wasn't rich, but her heart? Overfunded. Operation Blend In. Meanwhile, inside a tinted black SUV parked 2 streets away, Noah adjusted his glasses. Target location confirmed. Nora peeped through the window dramatically. Do I look poor enough? She was wearing a simple cotton dress. No designer shoes. No bow in her hair today. Noah nodded. You look moderately struggling. Rude. The driver turned around nervously. Are you sure about this? Noah replied calmly. Sir, history will remember you as the man who helped save our father's love life. The driver blinked. I just want to keep my job. The twins walked into the restaurant. Azuka looked up from wiping a table. 2 well-behaved, suspiciously polished children standing at the entrance. Hello, Auntie, Nora said softly. Azuka smiled immediately. Hello, my dear. Where are your parents? Noah stepped forward. Our father is busy. Busy doing what? He paused dramatically. Surviving. Nora almost clapped at his performance. Azuka's smile faded into concern. You haven't eaten? They exchanged a look. This was it. Stage 1. Noah shook his head gently. We're not very stable. Azuka's heart melted instantly. Sit down. No, it's okay, Noah began. I said sit. That tone? Mother material. Azuka packed steaming jollof rice, chicken, and a cold bottle of Fanta. She lowered her voice. If my boss asks, you are my cousins. Nora stared at the food like she hadn't seen carbohydrates in years. Noah whispered, remember dignity. Nora whispered back, dignity can wait. Azuka placed the food in front of them. Eat slowly. They didn't. They devoured it like trained actors. Azuka watched, eyes soft. Where is your mother? Silence. That wasn't acting. Noah looked down. She passed away. Azuka inhaled softly. Oh, I'm sorry. Nora added quietly. Daddy hasn't smiled in a long time. Azuka pressed her chest unconsciously. That line hit her. The twins noticed. Internal note. Emotional trigger successful. The curiosity begins. The next day, they returned. Azuka crossed her arms playfully. So you people have come again? Noah nodded seriously. We are evaluating the consistency of your kindness. She blinked. Eh? Nora quickly laughed. He means we were hungry again. Azuka laughed softly. You two talk like small adults. Noah replied calmly. Our father says maturity is free. Azuka shook her head smiling. Your father sounds interesting. Nora jumped in. He's a mechanic. Azuka nodded thoughtfully. Hard-working man. Noah added quietly. He doesn't rest. Something in Azuka's expression changed. Respect. Not pity. Respect. Stage 2 unlocked. One evening, the twins arrived late. Azuka was closing. You two should not be roaming around this late. Nora tilted her head. You care? Azuka pretended to be stern. If anything happens to you, I will not forgive myself. Noah and Nora exchanged silent glances. Confirmed. Azuka walked them outside. The streetlight flickered above. She held Nora's hand naturally. That small gesture, the twins felt it. Not forced, not fake, not because they were rich, because she cared. Meanwhile, back in Banana Island, that night inside the golden master bedroom, Abeo loosened his kaftan collar. He stared at Balago's skyline. Something felt different lately. The children were secretive. Noah had been whispering. Nora had been giggling suspiciously. He narrowed his eyes. They are planning something. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He ignored it. He had no idea that in Surulair, a woman who didn't know his net worth had just fed his children with her last portion of rice. Stage 1, officially passed. Back in their luxury twin bedroom with LED lights glowing blue and pink, Noah typed on his laptop. Candidate name, Azuka Nwafor. Kindness level, extremely high. Greed index, 0. Nora lay on her stomach, kicking her feet excitedly. I like her. Noah nodded. She didn't even ask for transport money. Or Instagram. Very impressive. They high-fived. Operation Find Mommy had officially moved to Phase 2. Introduced the father. Back in her small apartment, single bed, tiny fan rotating lazily, one window with thin curtain. Azuka counted her tips for the day. Small money. She sighed softly, then she smiled. At least those children ate. She lay down peacefully, unaware that 2 small billionaires had already shortlisted her as future Mrs. Ola. And somewhere in Banana Island, a man who owned half of Lagos was about to meet the only woman who wouldn't care. Chief Abeo Ola stood in his dressing room the size of a mini apartment. Mirrors, gold handles, Italian suits arranged like soldiers, shoes that cost more than a small car. And in the middle of it all, he was holding a plain white shirt. Why am I wearing this? He muttered. Behind him, Noah stood with hands behind his back like a tiny general. Because, sir, today you are not a billionaire. Nora nodded seriously from the bed. You are a struggling mechanic. Abeo turned slowly. Do I look like I struggle? The twins looked at him. Tall, broad shoulders, dark cocoa skin glowing, beard perfectly shaped, jawline sharp enough to cut glass. Noah sighed. You look like you own the mechanic workshop. Exactly, Nora added. Please reduce the billionaire aura. Abeo narrowed his eyes. How does one reduce aura? Slouch a little, Noah suggested. Abeo tried. He still looked like a king pretending to bend. Nora shook her head. This is going to be difficult. Surulere Azuka's ordinary day. Tied her low bun tighter and wiped sweat from her forehead. The restaurant was busy. 2 rice, 1 takeaway, no pepper. She moved quickly, calm and efficient. But her mind wandered. The twins hadn't come today. For the first time in weeks. She told herself she wasn't worried, but she was. Those children better not be roaming around Lagos, she muttered. The bell above the restaurant door rang. She looked up casually and froze. He walked in, plain white shirt, black trousers, no wristwatch, no perfume cloud. But presence, dangerous. Tall, dark, broad, calm. Abeo scanned the small restaurant quietly. Plastic chairs, standing fan, peeling paint. He had signed oil contracts in rooms bigger than this, but for some reason, his heart beat faster here. Azuka stepped forward. Good afternoon. Her voice was soft but steady. He looked at her and forgot what Noah told him to say. She was even more beautiful up close. No makeup, no drama, just grace. Good afternoon, he replied. The twins popped out from behind him dramatically. Surprise! Azuka's eyes widened. You brought your father? Nora nodded proudly. Yes, this is our mechanic. Abeo coughed slightly. Mechanic. Azuka extended her hand politely. I'm Azuka. He took her hand. Her touch was warm, not calculating, not impressed, just normal. Something shifted. They sat at a small plastic table, which looked criminally small compared to Abeo's height. He folded himself carefully into the chair. It creaked. Noah whispered, Sir, act natural. I am natural, Abeo muttered. Azuka smiled slightly. So, you fix cars? Yes. Pause. All kinds? Yes. Another pause. Nora kicked his leg under the table. He cleared his throat. I specialize in engines. Noah blinked. Very advanced engines. Azuka nodded seriously. That's good. Hard-working men are rare these days. Abeo almost laughed. If she knew he owned the car company. But she wasn't impressed. She wasn't flirting. She wasn't adjusting her hair. Talking. Like he was normal. He couldn't remember the last time that happened. Azuka brought him food. Eat. I'm fine. She raised an eyebrow. Eat. He obeyed. No one ordered Chief Abeo Ola around, yet here he was, eating obediently. Noah whispered to Nora, She has authority. Maternal energy confirmed. Azuka noticed them whispering. What are you two plotting? Nothing, they chorused. Abeo shook his head. They're dramatic. She laughed. It hit him unexpectedly. Warm, real, unpolished. He stared a second too long. She noticed. Is there rice on my face? He blinked. No. Then why are you looking like that? He cleared his throat. I was just thinking. About engines? Noah nearly choked. Azuka leaned forward slightly. The children say you don't rest. Abeo looked at them. Traitors. I manage. She shook her head. You shouldn't just manage. You should live. That sentence landed heavy. Nobody spoke to him like that. Not board members, not socialites, not business partners. She continued softly. Your children adore you, but they worry. He swallowed. They told you that? Yes. Silence. The fan rotated loudly in the background. Outside, Danfo buses honked. Inside, something quiet grew. A drunk customer at another table started shouting loudly. Azuka stood immediately. Please, sir, lower your voice. The man scoffed. Abeo's posture changed instantly. Sharp, protective, dominant. He stood up slowly. The entire restaurant seemed to shrink. The drunk man looked up at him and wisely sat down. Azuka looked surprised. You didn't have to. Yes, I did. Their eyes locked. Intensity. Real tension. Not playful. Not fake. Noah whispered to Nora, chemistry level rising. Very rising. After closing time, Abeo insisted on walking her a short distance. You don't have to, she said. I know. They walked under dim streetlights, Lagos night breeze soft against their skin. She glanced at him. You don't look like a mechanic. He smirked slightly. What do I look like? She hesitated. Like someone who carries too much responsibility. That caught him off guard. And you? He asked quietly. She smiled. Someone who carries hope. He looked at her differently then. Not as a test, not as a candidate, but as a woman. Meanwhile, the tiny matchmakers. From inside the parked car across the street, Noah typed on his tablet. Father's interest level, high. Eye contact duration, suspiciously long. Emotional response, activated. Nora grinned. Phase 3 is working. Noah adjusted his glasses. Prepare for deeper evaluation. Back in Banana Island that night, Abeo removed his white shirt slowly. He stared at himself in the mirror. For the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about oil contracts. He was thinking about a woman in an Ankara dress who told him to eat. He smiled slightly, then caught himself. Ridiculous. But somewhere in Surulere, Azuka lay on her small bed, staring at the ceiling. Why did that mechanic feel like more? And just like that, the billionaire had taken the first step toward love, without even realizing he was already falling. Banana Island, 7:12 a.m. The mansion dining hall was silent. Too silent. Abeo sat at the head of the long marble dining table in a perfectly tailored navy suit. His beard was sharp, his posture powerful, his face calm. But his mind? In Surulere. Rain. Her laughter. Her thumb on his beard. He exhaled slowly. Across from him, Noah and Nora were not eating their pancakes. They were studying him. Noah adjusted his glasses like a tiny professor. Subject appears distracted. Nora squinted dramatically. His soul is in Surulere. Abeo didn't look up. I can hear both of you. Noah nodded seriously. Yes, we are aware. Nora leaned her chin on her palm. You sighed 3 times in under 2 minutes. Abeo finally looked up. I did not. Noah calmly tapped his tablet. I recorded it. Silence. Abeo narrowed his eyes. You two are very bold this morning. Nora gasped. Defensive tone detected. Noah leaned forward. Father. He rarely used that word. Abeo's eyebrow lifted slightly. Yes? Noah folded his small hands together. You like Azuka. Abeo blinked once. Nora clutched her chest dramatically. Daddy has fallen in love with a mechanic's customer. Abeo put down his fork slowly. I have not fallen. Noah nodded. You have descended. The teasing begins. Abeo stood up. I have meetings. Nora jumped off her chair and blocked his path. She was 41 of pure determination. You walked her home. Noah adjusted his glasses slowly. That statement was irreversible. Abeo glared lightly. You were not supposed to hear that. Nora grinned. We hear everything. He walked past them. They followed him, through the hallway, up the staircase, into his private study, like tiny emotional debt collectors. Inside the study, floor-to-ceiling windows showed the ocean. Abeo stood with his back to them. Why are you two interrogating me? Noah spoke calmly. Because we approve of her. Abeo turned slowly. Nora nodded excitedly. She feeds us real food, not chef decoration food. Noah added, she defended us. Nora placed her hand dramatically on her chest. She laughs with her whole face. Abeo's expression softened for half a second. He quickly recovered. That does not mean she should be invited here. Both twins froze. Noah tilted his head. Why not? Abeo hesitated. Because this mansion is gold, and marble, and history, and secrets. Because if she steps into this world, the truth won't stay hidden. Because if she sees who I really am. He cleared his throat. It is complicated. Nora crossed her arms. No, you are complicated. Noah climbed onto the leather chair opposite him. Father, when Mother left, you said something. Abeo stiffened. Noah continued softly. You said we deserve someone kind. Nora's voice lost its teasing tone. Azuka is kind. Silence filled the room. Abeo swallowed. They rarely brought up their mother. You both like her that much? They nodded together, in perfect sync. Noah, she does not look at us like we are accessories. Nora, she looks at us like we are people. That hit him harder than any business loss ever had. Abeo tried to regain control. And what exactly are you suggesting? The twins looked at each other. Mission time. Noah, invite her to dinner. Nora, officially. Noah, at the mansion. Nora, so she can see where you actually live. Abeo nearly choked. Absolutely not. You are ashamed of us? What? No? Noah shook his head. He is afraid. Abeo's jaw tightened. I am not afraid of anything. Nora smiled slowly. Prove it. Silence. That was low. Very low. He stared at them. They stared back. 2 small masterminds. The final push. Noah stood up. Father, you told her she matters. Nora added softly. And if she matters, why hide her? The room went quiet again. Abeo looked toward the window. The ocean shimmered under sunlight. Then he saw it in his mind. Azuka defending the twins. Azuka wiping his beard gently. He exhaled slowly. If I invite her, you will both behave. The twins froze. Nora blinked. Define behave. He narrowed his eyes. No testing. No fake accidents. No slipping in puddles. Noah hesitated. That last one was unintentional. Abeo raised a brow. Was it? Silence. Nora smiled sheepishly. 50% intentional. He sighed deeply. You are impossible. Noah grinned. You love us. Nora added, and you love her. Abeo gave them a warning look. They didn't flinch. Finally, he picked up his phone. The twins stopped breathing. He scrolled to her number, paused. His thumb hovered. Nora whispered dramatically, "This is history." Noah whispered, "Recording emotional data." Abeo shot them a look, then pressed call. It rang once, twice, 3 times. Azuka's soft voice answered. "Hello?" His voice dropped slightly deeper. "Azuka." A pause. "Yes, mechanic?" The twins covered their mouths. He ignored them. "Are you free this evening?" A small silence on the other end. "Maybe. Why?" He swallowed. "I would like you to have dinner." Another pause. "Where?" He looked around the mansion. Gold, marble, history, secrets. "My house." Silence. Longer this time. Then, "Your house?" "Yes." Another breath. "I'll come." The twins exploded silently behind him. Nora jumped into Noah's arms. Noah whispered dramatically, "Operation Find Mommy entering final phase." Abeo ended the call slowly. He looked at his children. "You two have caused trouble." Nora grinned. "Good trouble?" He almost smiled. "Almost, yes." And for the first time in years, the mansion did not feel empty. Banana Island had never looked this dramatic. The gates of Abeo's mansion stood tall, black and gold, glowing under soft evening lights like they were guarding national secrets. Inside the car, Azuka stared through the window. The car had picked her up exactly at 6:30 p.m. She had assumed "my house" meant a house, not a presidential headquarters. The gates slowly opened. Her breath caught. The driveway curved endlessly toward a mansion that looked like it had its own zip code. White marble exterior, tall glass windows, soft golden lighting, water fountain in front. Azuka blinked twice, then once more. "Mechanic," she muttered softly to herself. "If this is your house, then I sell tomatoes." The car stopped. The door opened. She stepped out slowly. Tonight she wore a simple, elegant navy blue dress that hugged her slim frame modestly. Her chocolate skin glowed under the lights. Her low bun was perfectly neat, natural beauty, no heavy makeup, just her. At the entrance, Abeo stood waiting. Black tailored suit, beard perfectly shaped, eyes of controlled composure. But internally, chaos. His heart began beating harder the moment she stepped out of the car. Too hard, ridiculously hard. He swallowed. Why does she look like that? Azuka looked up at the mansion, then at him, then back at the mansion, then back at him. She narrowed her eyes slowly. "You fix engines, where?" Behind the curtains upstairs. 2 small faces pressed against the glass. Noah adjusted his glasses. Shock level, extreme. Nora gasped dramatically. She has discovered wealth. The entrance. Abeo cleared his throat. "Welcome." Azuka folded her arms lightly. "Welcome to the Mechanic Palace?" He almost smiled. "It's just a house." She looked around at the towering pillars. "If this is just, I am offended on behalf of all houses." He stepped closer, close enough to lower his voice. "I wanted you to see where I live." Her eyes softened slightly. "You lied to me." There it was. He expected anger. She wasn't shouting. She was just hurt. That was worse. He exhaled slowly. "Yes, upstairs." Nora grabbed Noah's arm. Confession tension rising. Inside the mansion, they walked into the grand living room. High ceilings, crystal chandelier, soft instrumental music playing faintly. Azuka walked slowly, taking it in. Her flat sandals echoed lightly on marble floors. "You are not a mechanic." He shook his head. "No." "What are you then?" He paused, then answered calmly. "I own several automotive companies." She stopped walking, turned slowly. "And you are fixing cars in Surulere because?" He hesitated, then said truthfully, "Because I'm tired of people loving my money before they love me." Silence. Heavy. Honest. Her expression changed. The teasing left her face. "You thought I would?" His heart clenched. "I didn't know." She stepped closer. "You didn't trust me." "I didn't trust anyone." That was the real answer. Upstairs, Noah typed on his tablet. Emotional vulnerability. Very high. The heartbeat moment dinner was set in the private dining room. Candles flickered softly, but neither of them touched the food. Azuka looked at him carefully. You walked me home. You told me I matter. He swallowed. I meant that. Her voice softened. Then why are you afraid? That word again. Afraid. Abeo, the billionaire who negotiated million-dollar deals without blinking, was nervous. His heart was pounding so loudly he was sure she could hear it. He stood up slowly, walked around the table, stopped in front of her. She remained seated, looking up at him. He crouched slightly so they were eye level. His voice dropped. I have not felt this way in years. Upstairs, Nora fainted dramatically onto the carpet. Noah whispered urgently, This is not a drill. The confession, Abeo looked into her eyes. No investor makes my heart race. A small smile flickered on her lips. No politician makes me forget what I was saying. Her smile widened slightly. No one has ever wiped rain from my beard and rearranged my entire emotional structure. She laughed softly. He continued, When you laugh, I feel peace. His voice steadied. When you defend my children, I feel grateful. He inhaled deeply. When you look at me, I forget to breathe. Silence. His eyes searched hers. I am not a mechanic. A pause. I am a man who is falling in love with you. The words hung between them, real, unfiltered, dangerous. Azuka's breath trembled slightly. You're serious? Yes. No dramatic billionaire speech? That was the speech. She laughed through nervous tears. You're supposed to kneel or something. He blinked. You want me to kneel? She folded her arms playfully. I mean, the moment feels kneel-worthy. Upstairs, Nora screamed silently into a pillow. Noah whispered, She is bold. I approve. Abeo stared at her for 2 seconds. Then he knelt, fully, in a 3-piece suit on polished marble. Azuka's eyes widened. You're actually kneeling? Yes. His deep brown eyes softened. I don't want to hide anymore. He took her hands gently. Azuka, I love the woman you are. Not your background, not your apartment, not your simplicity. He squeezed her fingers softly. I love you. Silence. Heavy. Beautiful. She looked down at him, at this powerful man kneeling, vulnerable, honest, ridiculously attractive. You're making this very hard, she whispered. He blinked. That was not my intention. She laughed softly through tears. I love you too, mechanic. He exhaled like he had been holding his breath for years. Upstairs, the twins exploded into silent celebration. Noah whispered, Mission accomplished. Nora wiped imaginary tears. Daddy is completely finished. The almost kiss. Abeo stood slowly, still holding her hands. They were close now, very close. His thumb brushed gently against her wrist. Her breath hitched. Can I kiss you? He asked quietly. She tilted her head. You're asking? Yes, she smiled softly. Good. He leaned in slowly, soft, careful, intentional. Their lips met gently, not rushed, not dramatic, just right. Upstairs, Noah covered Nora's eyes. Parental affection detected. Nora peeked anyway. I am emotionally invested. Later that night, Abeo stood on the balcony with Azuka beside him, Banana Island lights shimmering below, her hand in his. For the first time in years, he wasn't guarding his heart. And downstairs in the mansion, 2 tiny masterminds high-fived quietly. Operation Find Mommy? Success. Weeks passed, and Banana Island no longer felt like a museum. It felt like a home. Azuka did not move in immediately. She insisted. I am not relocating because of marble floors, she had said firmly. Nora had whispered loudly to Noah. She is strong. I like her. Noah adjusted his glasses. She cannot be bribed by chandeliers. Excellent. Abeo had simply watched her with quiet admiration. That was one of the reasons he loved her. She wasn't impressed by his money. She was impressed by his honesty. The real test. One evening, Azuka arrived at the mansion without being announced. She walked into the living room and froze. Abeo was on the floor, in casual clothes, building a giant cardboard castle with the twins. His sleeves rolled up, beard slightly messy, laughing, actually laughing. Noah was giving instructions like an architect. Structural balance is essential. Nora was decorating it with glitter. This is emotional design. Azuka stood there quietly, watching. This powerful man, the billionaire feared in boardrooms, was sitting cross-legged on the floor, letting glitter fall into his beard. He looked up and saw her. For a second he looked embarrassed. Then he smiled. And that smile was different. It wasn't guarded. It wasn't careful. It was home. "You came early," he said. She walked closer. "I wanted to see something." And? She looked at him, at the twins, at the half-built glitter castle. "I see everything." He understood. She wasn't looking at his wealth. She was looking at his heart. The proposal, which was not calm. 2 months later, Banana Island Garden, evening lights glowing softly in the trees. Azuka thought it was just a small family dinner. It was not. Nora wore a tiny fancy dress and kept pacing dramatically. Noah was holding a small velvet box like it contained the national budget. Abeo stood in front of Azuka. This time he didn't hesitate. He didn't overthink. He didn't guard himself. He simply took her hands. "When it rained in Surulere, I thought I was protecting you." He smiled softly, "But you were the one protecting me." Her eyes filled slightly. "You walked into my life without asking for anything." He inhaled deeply. "You saw me before you saw my money." The twins stood behind him, nodding proudly. "And I don't want another day where you are not in this house, not because of the marble, but because you are the peace inside it." He knelt, again. No hesitation. Nora whispered loudly, "Yes, kneel properly." Noah cleared his throat. "Maintain focus, father." Abeo ignored them. "Azuka, will you marry me?" Silence. Heavy. Beautiful. She looked at him, at the twins. At this strange, chaotic, perfect family. She smiled. "Yes." Nora screamed. Noah tried to remain dignified, failed. They all collided into one chaotic group hug. Even Abeo laughed. The wedding. The wedding was elegant, but not extravagant. Azuka insisted. No fireworks, no unnecessary drama. Nora looked personally offended. But she survived. Azuka walked down the aisle glowing, chocolate skin radiant, low bun elegant. Abeo looked at her like a man who knew exactly what he had almost lost by hiding. When they said their vows, there was no performance, just truth. "I choose you," he said. "And I choose you," she replied. The twins held hands in the front row, like tiny guardians of destiny. Rain fell softly over Surulere again. But this time, Azuka wasn't walking home alone. She stood under an umbrella. Noah and Nora arguing over who gets the front seat. They had come back to Surulere to open a community automotive training center. Abeo insisted it carry Azuka's name. She protested. Lost. The building sign read, "Azuka Foundation, Skills for Hope." As rain fell lightly, she looked at him. "Funny how rain started everything." He smiled. "Yes." "And now?" He pulled her closer gently. "Now it brings us back to where we began." Noah sighed dramatically. "They are doing romance again." Nora rolled her eyes. "Let them. They earned it." Azuka laughed. Abeo kissed her forehead. And somewhere between Surulere and Banana Island, between mechanic lies and honest love, between glitter castles and marble floors, they built something stronger than wealth. Operation Find Mommy? Completed. But the real mission, love without disguise, that one lasts forever. True love sees the heart, not the wealth. Azuka loved Abeo before she knew his riches. Real relationships are built on honesty, kindness, and respect, not material possessions. Children often know what adults overlook. Noah and Nora showed wisdom beyond their years. Their pure intentions remind us that sometimes the youngest voices can teach the greatest lessons about love and character. Honesty is the strongest foundation. Abeo's success meant nothing when it came to finding someone who truly cared for him. Being genuine and vulnerable opens the door to meaningful connections. Family makes life richer than money ever could. Wealth can build walls, but love, honesty, and family build homes. What lesson have you learned from this story? Let us know in the comments section. Like and subscribe for more romantic dramas, billionaire love stories.